Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse, and today the subject that we're going to talk about is mental illness and psych issues in the context of poop hitting the fan. And this is a particular subject that quite a few people have overlooked, I think, in favor of focusing on the prison system. So, to their defense, the prison system and the flaws within the prison system are much more publicized and much better known than the problems, the issues, and the flaws within our psych system today. Having worked extensively in inpatient psych, I feel like I can bring a little bit of light to some of these issues, so let's go ahead and charge forth. And I think something that a lot of people know, which a lot of people can readily identify with, is that the American populace, many people are on prescription psych medications, whether it is a SSRI, an antidepressant, an SNRI, a more hard-hitting antidepressant. Those are much more difficult to come down off of, by the way. Whether it's a benzo, whether it is an antipsychotic like Haldol or Thorazine. I mean, a lot of people are on meds here, and it is pretty difficult to come off of those meds really quickly. So a lot of people are going to be in a very bad situation if the grid goes down, if they are not able to get access to their meds. Because let's say even in the event that you have a few extra pills, in the case of an SNRI, something like Effexor, some of these drugs, if you stop them very quickly, you're going to have significant issues. Also, stopping things quickly like benzos, you're going to go into benzo detox. Stopping opiates, you're going to go into opiate detox. And as a result of that, you may have people who were previously pretty well controlled from a psych standpoint who will decompensate or who will not have access to their medication and who will, whether perceived or real, meaning chemically induced or body-mind psychologically induced, they will lose it. And let's also not forget here that many people, regardless of whether or not you believe in antipsychotics, many people have to have those to function today. I'm not saying that I think that every person prescribed some of these psych meds, I'm not saying that everybody needs them, but there are a lot of people who are dependent upon them. And when that rug gets pulled out from under people, especially when you consider the external factors going on, especially when you consider, okay, let's say ramification number one of poop hitting the fan. They're not going to have access to maybe running water or electricity, so the things that they have used to really keep them in homeostasisized, if you will, to keep them at an equilibrium, these things will be pulled out from under them. So where do these people go now? Where do a lot of people who have psych issues go now when they lose it? People who become manic or people who become in a catatonic state, who just, where do they go now? Well, they go to an inpatient psych hospital. And the way that things work now, and also I might add people with recurrent suicide attempts or people who have made a suicide attempt, they almost always get committed if they've gone to the ER. Because the physician who sees them, who sees that this person has made a pretty decent suicide attempt, will very frequently commit them. So where do these people go now? They go to the inpatient psych hospitals and they are treated and then released. People who are a little bit more difficult to treat stay in a little bit longer. People with hardcore schizophrenia, schizophreniform, schizotypal, they sometimes tend to migrate from hospital to hospital. But what's going to happen in poop hitting the fan, what's going to happen is the hospitals are not going to be staffed. The hospitals, let's say the grid goes down, a lot of the hospitals have electronically run locking systems, but also they have physical backups. You're going to run into issues with people getting out. And let's just say, for instance, let's just say that they manage to keep the amount of people who are in the psych hospitals, the amount of people who are dangers to other people, not just to themselves, but who are dangerous to other people. They will not be able to admit any more. The way this tends to work is that people, they come in from decompensating to a psych system, they come in, and then they get their shot of Haldol Deck, or they get their Risperdal Consta shot that keeps them somewhat normal for a while, and then they go back out to the community until they get non-compliant with their meds again, and then they get readmitted, come back in for their Risperdal, Constashot, whatever. And this is how it continues. This right here is, our psych system is sitting on a knife edge right now. You need to be aware of this. Our psych system is sitting on a knife edge. It is less prepared for complete chaos than our prison system is. You need to think about this. The way things are working right now is it's kind of like, I would make it an analogy to the Walmart inventory system, is how the psych system works. You're sending stuff out at the same rate you're pulling it in. What happens when your shipping outage, or excuse me, what happens when your supply line gets interrupted? You're gonna have backup, you're gonna have problems. That's the way our psych system is right now. And people who had previously been brought in to psych institutions for being, you know, crazy, really, they're not going to be able to be brought in. One thing that a lot of people don't know is that when you are committed to a hospital for being a danger to other people, and sometimes even to yourself, you're brought in a squad car. Police bring you frequently, unless you've got medical conditions, and then you're brought in an ambulance. But the squad cars in Poop Hits the Fan, they're not going to be bringing crazy people to hospitals. They're going to be trying to hold down the fort. They're going to be trying to suppress violent stuff in the cities. So this is an issue that you're going to have to deal with. Now, there are other considerations here as well, which is, okay, you know, not everybody who is on meds is going to become a violent person when they don't have their meds. What are some things that we can do now to help ourselves? I'm speaking to you right now. If you are on psych medications, you need to have some contingency plans in there. Listen, of all the people, I am not condemning you for that. There are a lot of people in the Patriot community who go off about this. And I'm here to tell you that going off on people and condemning people because they take psych meds, that's not the way to do this. Let's have a little compassion for folks here. Not everybody can be perfect all the time. So what are some things that we can do now to help get more mentally fit? Well, there's obviously spiritual implications to this, so I would encourage you to seek out truth. The Bible is a really good place to comfort yourself. Just look at Psalms, folks. So that's one. Also, nutrition. Nutrition here is huge. There is a lot of emerging evidence that is suggesting that fish oil supplementation with omega-3s and also vitamin D are very important for mood regulation. It's being used right now to help people with schizophrenia, and it's being used right now to help people with bipolar disorder. There's a lot of really promising evidence right now that is showing that these fatty acids are very important for regulating and maintaining mental health. So look into that. Also, learning some non-pharmacological coping mechanisms, things to get you to calm down, to go to sleep, progressive relaxation, homeopathic things, chamomile tea. We could go on and on and on. Valerian root. There's so many things that you can do right now. Just to, even if you don't buy these things, or even if you don't actively use them, just research it. So, I mean, you've got something to fall back on mentally. Another thing to consider here as well is if you are in the class of drugs called SNRIs, Effexor is one of these. These are antidepressants, and they are more of a hard-hitting antidepressant. They're not the first line of antidepressant. It's not like Zoloft. It's like Zoloft's monstrous big cousin. With SNRIs, you cannot stop those all at once. So, folks, a good principle here to put forward is that if you have medicines that you know are going to run out, do not just take them like every 30 days and then stop cold turkey. You know, split it up. One day take them, one day not. And this is for emergency only. I'm not saying doing this outside of a doctor's care, but for an emergency, don't stop your meds cold turkey all at once. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. I just wanted to address it in some way. So for now, this is Patriot Nurse signing off, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.